Every single mammal that matters to your survival has fur. Bears have it, wolves have it, even your pet hamster has more hair than you'll ever grow in your life. So why are you naked? Out of over 5,000 species of mammals on Earth, humans are one of the very few that lost almost all of their body hair. And for over 150 years, scientists have been arguing about why. Today we're solving it. This is past tense, and this is the story of how your ancestors accidentally shed the one thing that kept every other animal alive. Let's rewind about 7 million years. And back then, our ancestors looked a lot more like chimpanzees than humans. And yes, that includes a full coat of hair. For millions of years, that fur did exactly what it does for every other mammal. Kept them warm at night, protected their skin from the sun, and gave babies something to cling on to. Then somewhere between 3 and 2 million years ago, something changed. Our ancestors started losing their hair, not gradually shedding it like a molting bird, but evolving it away completely, replacing thick fur with millions of tiny, nearly invisible hairs and a whole new organ system underneath. So the real question isn't just why did we lose our fur, it's what could possibly be worth losing your only source of built-in insurance against the cold, the sun, and every insect on the planet. Turns out the answer might be the same reason you're sweating right now just reading this. The leading theory goes like this: our ancestors' world was changing. Dense forests were shrinking, and the African savanna, hot, open, and sun-scorched, was expanding. To survive out there, early humans needed to do something no other primate was doing: walk and eventually run long distances during the hottest part of the day. Here's the problem. Fur is basically a built-in blanket, great for keeping heat in overnight, terrible for getting heat out while you're sprinting under the African sun at noon. So evolution ran an experiment. Individuals with slightly less body hair and slightly more sweat glands could cool down faster. They could hunt longer, chase prey further, and survive heat that would knock other animals out cold. And it worked almost too well. Humans today have between 2 and 4 million sweat glands, more than almost any other mammal on Earth. We're basically walking radiators. Losing the fur wasn't a bug. It was the upgrade that let us out-endure everything else on the savanna, including animals that could outrun us in a straight sprint. This is actually the theory behind something called persistence hunting. Early humans literally running prey to exhaustion over hours, because we could cool down and they couldn't. Here's a less glamorous theory: bugs. Thick fur is a 5-star resort for parasites, ticks, lice, fleas, mites, all of which can carry disease. Once humans started living in groups, using fire, and sleeping in the same spots night after night, fur-loving parasites had a permanent home. Some researchers think losing fur was partly a defense mechanism. Less hair meant fewer places for parasites to hide, fewer infections, and better odds of surviving long enough to have kids. And once a population starts choosing mates with visibly cleaner, healthier, less parasite-covered skin, hairlessness itself becomes attractive. That preference alone can accelerate the trend over generations. Speaking of mate choice, some scientists think fur loss wasn't purely about survival at all. It might have been about attraction. This is the same evolutionary force responsible for a peacock's tail or a deer's antlers. Traits that don't necessarily help you survive, but do help you get chosen as a mate. If smoother skin signaled youth, health, or simply stood out as something new and different, individuals with less hair might have had a mating advantage, even if it had nothing to do with cooling down or dodging parasites. Over enough generations, attractive and hairless could have reinforced each other until the trait spread through the whole population. Now here's the twist. We didn't actually lose our hair. We lost the thick, visible kind. You still have roughly the same density of hair follicles as a chimpanzee, around 5 million of them. They just grow incredibly fine, short, and nearly invisible almost everywhere except a few key spots. And the places we did keep thick hair are a clue in themselves. Scalp hair protects your head, the part most exposed to direct sun, from overheating and UV damage. Eyebrows and eyelashes keep sweat and debris out of your eyes, and other areas may have stuck around for reasons still debated today, from scent signaling to reducing friction. In other words, evolution didn't remove hair randomly. It edited it, keeping it exactly where it was still useful, and shrinking it everywhere the cooling benefit mattered more. But losing that fur coat came with a price. Once our skin was exposed, our ancestors needed a new way to survive the cold, the sun, and the night. That's very likely part of why we started wearing clothes, building fires, and seeking shelter. Inventions that no other primate needed because no other primate gave up its natural insulation. We also evolved something else to protect exposed skin, melanin. Populations that lived under intense sun evolved darker skin for natural UV protection, while populations in lower sunlight regions evolved lighter skin to still absorb enough vitamin D. Losing our fur didn't just change how we looked, it kicked off an entirely new chapter of human evolution, all just to compensate for one missing coat of hair. So why did humans stop having fur? The honest answer is probably not just one reason. It was likely a combination: the need to cool down while hunting under a brutal sun, the pressure to avoid disease-carrying parasites, and the pull of sexual selection, all pushing in the same direction at the same time. And once it started, it snowballed. Less fur meant better cooling, meant longer hunts, meant more food, meant more surviving offspring who also had less fur. Evolution doesn't need one clean reason, it just needs a trait that keeps winning generation after generation for 2 million years straight. You're not naked because something went wrong. You're naked because it was weirdly one of the best decisions your ancestors' bodies ever made. So next time you're sweating on a hot day, complaining about how uncomfortable it is, remember that sweat is the exact same trick that let your ancestors outlast, outrun, and outsurvive nearly everything else on the savannah. If you like this, go watch What If You Were the First Human in History. It pairs perfectly with this one. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.